Yes, now YouTube, what is happening? Now, yesterday evening, there was a massive update from Treyarch which changed a load of the guns. This update contained nerfs to all of the ARs and buffs all of the SMGs. So in this video today, I'm going to be showing you the top 5 weapons after yesterday's update. Now, I will add, these are all pub loadouts and not competitive loadouts. If you want me to do a video on the competitive loadouts, I can sort that out for you. Just let me know in the comments below. If you enjoy this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get into the video. Now, kicking off at number 5, I have the XM4. After yesterday's update, the XM4 took a massive hit from being a top 3 weapon to drop down to arguably not being on this list. I could have made a strong argument for the AK-47 to be on this list, however I do still think the XM4 is slightly better. Yesterday's nerf saw the XM4 lose a tick of maximum damage, but saw an increase in the gun's range with that damage output. Increased to a max of 16.5 meters from a previous 7 meters. However, apart from that buff to the damage range, both the medium and minimum damage range saw a nerf of 5 meters each. And whilst the gun is still an A tier gun, these nerfs definitely have affected the physical feel of the XM4. Now, don't get me wrong, this isn't me saying the gun has been nerfed into the ground. The gun is still insanely good. With a fast ADS and still a very quick TTK, if you pair the XM4 with 8 attachments using Gunfighter, it also has almost no recoil. The mobility of the gun with these attachments makes the XM4 a top 5 gun in my opinion. Here you can see the loadout I have chosen for the XM4. The optic, you can use whatever you think best for you. I prefer the Accu Spot Reflex over most. Some people may choose to use overpressured fire mod over recoil springs, however it is all personal preference to yourself. Let's move on to number 4. Moving on to number 4, I have the Jackal PDW. I honestly love this SMG, and if it wasn't for the other SMG on this list being so good, this gun would be top 2 in my opinion. Yesterday's buff to the Jackal saw an increase in damage range across all 4 ranges. The medium 2 and minimum damage range saw an increase of just under 4 meters, whereas the maximum and medium 1 damage ranges saw an increase of around 1 meter each. Whilst these buffs aren't really enough to notice, the fact that the damage output hasn't been altered in any way makes this gun a top 5 weapon in my opinion. Not only is the Jackal insanely good within 15 meters, the damage output for medium range is also unreal for an SMG. I must add, however, despite the high damage output across all 4 ranges, Jackal does feel quite sluggish. The gun is one mobility buff away from being the best SMG in the game by a country mile, and with it not being insanely broken currently, some may say that we could see a mobility buff in the future. Here you can see the attachments I've been running. I feel as though this is the best loadout you can build with the Jackal. However, if you want to have a play around to increase movement speed, etc., go ahead and tell me your builds in the comments below. Moving on to the halfway point of this top 5 list to number 3, we have the Ames 85. This gun is currently the go-to AR within competitive play and for a very good reason as well. Yesterday, the Ames saw a damage nerf from maximum range yesterday, going from 23 damage per shot down to 21, which isn't enough to change how many bullets it takes to kill within that range. But then, the maximum damage range output for that damage saw a huge increase from 8 meters up to almost 51 meters, with the minimum damage range only getting a small alteration of 5 meters, which isn't enough to say the gun got a nerf in my opinion. The Ames has an incredible movement speed for an AR, and a damage output and recoil control to match. You'll see with most of the builds I have in this video, they are all 8 attachments, and an 8 attachment Ames is good enough to take the bronze medal on my list. Here you can see the class setup used for the Ames. You may be thinking, surely this is just the competitive loadout, but no, the gun was so OP the pro players banned the reinforced barrel on the Ames to make the gun less powerful. If you want to use the competitive Ames class, change the reinforced barrel to the gain twist barrel. Let's move on to the second place gun. Coming in at the silver medal position in second place, I have the Tanto .22. This gun is by far the best SMG at the moment and is close to the pound for pound number 1 gun in Black Ops 6. The gun was already stupidly better than the rest of the SMGs and now has seen an increase to its medium and minimum damage ranges by a few meters per range. The Tanto is a 3-hit kill from close range and medium 1 range. There isn't many other guns in this game that I can say the same about. The Tanto's movement speed is good, recoil is even better, and the only downside is that the fire rate is quite low in comparison to other SMGs. However, if you're feeling like you can control it, you can change the fire mod attachment to the rapid fire mod, where the gun shoots a lot faster but adds a load of recoil to the gun. Here's the build I've chosen to use. This build is by far the best build without the fire rate attachment, If you want to add that attachment on, be my guest, but just be wary that the Tanto then bounces a lot more than it would with this build I'm rocking. And last but certainly not least, coming in the number 1 position for what I think is the best gun on Call of Duty Black Ops 6, is the Model L Assault Rifle. This gun is honestly one of the most broken release guns I've ever seen on a Call of Duty title. I've also never seen an AR banned as quickly in competitive play as the Model L before. It was a 3-shot to the head and still is a 3-shot to the head, which is why it was banned so quickly for being too overpowered. Yesterday's adjustments to the Model L only saw a slight 2-tick decrease in maximum damage output, but seeing an increase in the gun's post-patch damage range. The minimum damage output was given a 1-tick damage output increase. So if anything, this wasn't so much of a nerf, but more of a balance, which is why this gun is sat in my number 1 spot. Model L outkills SMGs at close range, has an insanely quick time to kill, and also shoots incredibly straight at long distances with the gun's unreal damage range at those distances. The gun is honestly so good and hopefully will be the meta in Warzone when the integration comes in. Here is the build I've been rocking, and this is by far the best build for the Model L and will have you shooting like the pros in pub lobbies. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, don't forget to like and subscribe and drop a comment, and I'll see you in the next one.